my future husband, if I ever get one, better address me as my wife. We love that over here. Hello besties, it's Kara. Welcome back to my channel. So today's video we're going to be doing my May wrap up. Basically, if you don't know how these videos work, I'm just going to be talking about all the books that I read in the month of May, my ratings, some of my thoughts, all that stuff. That's pretty much the gist of it. I just want to say that this is the last video that I will be like sit down filming in front of these bookshelves. Gotta pack them up. So a little bittersweet. Just wanted to let y'all know that that's happening. So take a good look at them. Don't look at me. Look at them. Without further ado, let's just get into the video. Make sure to follow my socials down below, follow my Goodreads, my Amazon wishlist, stuff like that will be linked down there if you want to check it out. Like, comment, and subscribe for more videos by me. And let's just get this thing rolling. I ended up reading 8 books in the month of May, which, I don't know, I'm just like on a roll these past few months. So honestly, some of these I don't have the best memory about them because I felt like I read them so many months ago, but I'll try my best to remember. The first book that I read in the month of May is How Does It Feel by Janine O'Reilly. This was definitely a time. And what I remember from this book is that there's this girl, this biologist, she's going into the forest to find like a special mushroom and ends up falling into the Fae realm and gets caught by the Prince Mendix, who thinks she's like a human assassin there to kill him. Locks her up and basically is gonna kill her, which is very vague, but like I don't even know what happened in this book. This book was just a lot. I wasn't expecting it. And apparently when I thought it was like, oh, he becomes obsessed with her, how cute, I was very much wrong. I did not know this is like a darker fantasy. Like this entire book, I was confused. I was uncomfortable. The one scene in the cell with that fucking frog or something. Oh my God, guys. I ended up giving it a 3 to 5 stars, but I honestly might change my rating to like a 2. This book was not good. If you like, I guess, darker fantasy, this might be for you. It was just not what I was expecting and not for me. So yeah, thinking 2 out of 5 stars. All right, next up is a book that has been on my TBR, I think, like the longest. And I'm so glad I finally got it off my TBR because I love this author so much. She's like one of my favorite authors of all time. So it's literally a crime. That book is Party World by Abby Jimenez. This is the first book in the little Part of Your World interconnected standalone universe. This book was so good. I ended up giving it a 4 out of 5 stars. I really enjoyed it. Just something about Abby Jimenez books that I just love so much. I love her writing style. I love her characters. I love how real the situations feel. I've said this multiple times, but I just love an emotional romance so much. This book is about Alexis and Daniel. Alexis is from the city. She's a doctor, and her family's very wealthy because they are doctors. They are like big names in the town, all that kind of stuff. And Daniel is from a small town where obviously life is a lot different. It's just really cute. I enjoyed myself. I need me a Daniel. I need me a Daniel because he was literally the sweetest character ever. And I remember sitting on my bed making a TikTok, and it was like I was like staring off to space because men like this just don't exist. I definitely recommend this book. Opposites Attract, I love an age gap. 4 out of 5 stars. I think the next 2 books that I'm gonna show I featured in a video. This next book is just so fun. Swift and Saddle by Lila Sage. This is the second book in the Rebel Blue Ranch series that she's got going on. It's a small town kind of cowboy romance series. I won't talk about this book too much, even though I want to, and the next book, because obviously I read them both in that video, so I'm just going to do quick thoughts. This is about Ada and Wes, and basically Wes is working on some like big bed and breakfast property that's on the ranch, and Ada is going to be the interior designer. The first day that she's literally in town, they end up like making out at a bar. She ends up leaving. Come next day, obviously she walks up and is like, oh haha, this is my boss, lol, we can't do this. It just progresses from there. I really ended up enjoying this. I ended up giving it a 3.5 out of 5 stars. It was just so fun, so lighthearted, so cheesy. If you're in a slump definitely pick this up. I will say that it was a little bit like insta attraction-y or insta lovey for me. Wes is definitely like a boy obsessed. Like, he gives the most golden retriever vibes ever, and I thought he was really, really sweet. But in doing so, it kind of felt like an insta lovey attraction-y. Personally, for me, a lot of people don't like Ada's character necessarily because of the things that she says, but I personally didn't mind her character. I related to a lot of what she was going through and a lot of the things that she said. Really fun time with this. I definitely recommend the first book, Done and Dusted, and this book as well if you just want some quick, cheesy reads. 3.5 out of 5 stars. This next book, I didn't talk much about in the video because I really just had nothing to say. It was just not good. Not my favorite. The Jam by Kate Canterbury, I gave 2 stars. I honestly should have DNF'd it. It in fact just did not get better, which is kind of sad because I've been really, really excited to read this book because it's a marriage of convenience. They used to be friends in high school and he used to be in love with her, but she never felt the same. She was like the popular kid, he was the quiet kid. She comes back into this small town because her step-grandmother or her great-grandmother, her grandmother, I don't really remember, ends up giving her the rights to this tulip farm, but the only way that she can have it is if that she's married, and he ends up being like, hey, just marry me, LOL, why not? Noah's character, he just like confused me the whole entire time. It was a little all over the place for me. Felt like Shay, who's the female main character, I just felt like she wasn't in it at all. Like, I just didn't feel the connection between these 2 characters, and it was so incredibly long. For what? There was a child in this book. He had to take guardianship of his niece, and I just did not like her. I didn't like the way she acted for her age. Like, she was 6 years old and she was swearing like a sailor. It was just a little unrealistic. 2 out of 5 stars. In a Jam kind of put me in a reading slump. Like, I really just didn't want to pick up any books at that point, but I was like, okay, Kira, you gotta read. And I kind of wanted a fantasy, but I didn't want a long fantasy. I remember that this book came out and I was like, this is the perfect book. Powerful by Lauren Roberts. This is the novella, the Powerless trilogy, I guess is what it's called. Basically, this is about Adina, who is Peyton's best friend from the first book. It's just her story of what she went through and what she was doing during the time that Peyton was in the trials. She has a little bit of a romance between her and Mac, who is a character that you meet. I've ended up giving it a 3 out of 5 stars. Did I enjoy it? Yeah, I thought it was fun. It was quick. I ended up enjoying the storyline. I totally forgot the events that happened in Powerless, and I was reading the end of this, and I was like, dang. Not much else to say. 3 out of 5 stars. Made it all the painless. Made my greatest. Alright guys, next up is a hockey romance, which if you don't know me, it's my favorite sports romance of all time to read about. I love hockey in real life. Blind Pass by Tegan Hunter. This is the second book in the Carolina Comets series that she's got going on. This book specifically is about these 2 people who get married in Vegas when they're really drunk and have to just put up this facade. They basically have to pretend they're married for a year so things just don't blow up. Polar opposites don't really like each other. That's pretty much the gist of it. I mean, it's really short. It's a quick read. I ended up giving it a 3 out of 5 stars. Not much to it, not much depth. I mean, I don't really remember much about this. My favorite part is that he just called her my wife all the time. I was down for that. My future husband, if I ever get one, better address me as my wife. We love that over here. I'm definitely gonna continue the series because why not? I think they're fun. 3 out of 5 stars. All right, next up is a book that is the last in the series. This author is one of my favorite authors. I love her books, and bittersweet to be done with this series finally. Eden series, the last book is Sable Peak by Devney Perry. This is about Vera and Mateo. You end up meeting her in the second to last book, Crimson River. So now she's living in this small town, and the Mateo is the youngest of the Edens. Things that Vera has gone through has made people skittish towards her. She's just trying to like reconnect with the world, and Mateo comes back. He's like a pilot, and he ends up having to come back, but then leaves because he finds out something, and she's like secretly in love with him, but he never notices. So she ends up like confessing her feelings. I ended up giving it a 3.75 to 5 stars. I just felt like after she told him and like confessed everything, it was kind of just too quick for me. Like, I wanted them to not get together as quickly as they did, even though he like supposedly had feelings for her or like always noticed her. You know what I mean? I wanted it to be a little bit of a slower development. At the same time, I really liked how deep it was, how easy it was to get through. The found family is good. I love this little small town. 3.75 out of 5 stars. And then the last book that I ended up reading for the month of May is another kind of marriage of convenience or drunken marriage, which I don't know what was up with me this month reading all the books about marriage. The Rule Book by Sarah Adams, which is kind of like a companion novel to The Cheat Sheet. This is about Nora and Derek, and they dated in college, and then she ended up breaking up with him, and they went their separate ways. Nora is like a sports agent, and she ends up being assigned to Derek, and he's like not having it because of their like history, so he just plans to like torture her until she wants to quit. That's all I knew. I didn't completely read the full back of the book because I'm like reading it, and all of a sudden they're like married, and I was like, oh, they had a night where they went wild and got super drunk, got married. Like, I didn't know that was the thing. And they agreed to stay married for his reputation because he's coming back from an injury and all that stuff. My thoughts were that, I don't know. I mean, I gave it a 3 to 5 stars. I just think that the whole entire time before they got together, Nora just kept talking about how attractive he was, his body, and the way he looks and all that stuff. And like, that's all she talked about. Like, where was the plot? I was just sick and tired of her talking about how attractive he was and how much she wanted to sleep with him. Like, where is the plot? I know they had history, so maybe that's why, but I was just like, do we stop talking about how attractive he was and maybe help him recover from this injury? And then Derek was just so like grumpy and closed off. I just felt not so connected with these characters because of how like fast they jump back into things. And then in the end, I warmed up to Derek, thought he ended up being really cute. Other than that, it was really easy to get through. I generally enjoy Sarah Adams books. They're kind of just light and fluffy. 3 to 5 stars. Not too bad of a reading month, I will say. I mean, a lot of just like average 3-star books, but I definitely felt better with the amount of books that I did read. That is all for me. I hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure to follow all my socials down below along with my Goodreads. Amazon wishlist will be down there if you want to check it out. Like, comment, and subscribe for more videos by me. And I will see you guys next week for another video. Bye!